Arkansas is.
And the Oshkosh program has obviously came a long way in just 2 years. What are some of the major differences you want to make from the first season this year, as far as like off ice and on ice, as far as like preparations go and stuff like that?
Well, I suppose I can start with that one, Tom. As students and as student athletes who are aspiring and reaching our professional goals after graduation, the club has really created an outlet to get in the community and involve and show our face. For example, many of our teammates volunteer with the youth Oshkosh Warbird Hockey Organization. I have coached for 5 years, and I've filtered many of the students into this program. We do learn to skate. There's also 2 members who coach the Bantam hockey team this year. That's one way we give back to the community. So it's not really all about us. We also want to grow the youth hockey organization and the overall hockey community in general.
Yeah, and from I would say maybe the organizational side, last year, first year, we had the players that we had at the university. We weren't able to really sell it to people coming in because it wasn't quite established yet. So we played with who we had here, and we played great with who we had here. Considering we had 16 guys throughout the season, this year we have 25 guys that are rostered with the team. That's a huge difference. So we played with 3 lines last year where we had 4 this year, and we had who we had. This year we were able to recruit a little. We weren't able to recruit how we're doing now, but we were able to talk to guys, come to Oshkosh. We have a team. We can help build you into an aspiring professional through the game of hockey. As we go into the future years, it's really going to be heavily focused on recruiting more, letting guys know we have a team here, letting them know how we can supplement their academics, because we are student athletes, and I would, purposely put that student first, because especially in our case, they need to be students first. They're not going to be going to the NHL when they're done playing for our teams, so we need to figure out how we can be a good supplement to their education.
So far this season, you're about almost midway through, and so obviously you played a lot of tough teams. Are there any games that really stick in your head as far as one of the most toughest opponents you faced this year? And
well, just this past weekend we faced off number 12 regional ranking Robert Morris, and the first game they came out, this would be an example of an opponent that maybe we fear coming in because we're not quite ready. We're not sure if we're ready. So our Friday game we opened up and got beat pretty bad, 6-1. But we came back the next day, we regrouped, we understood it was our senior night, and we knew that we could come back and play better. We came out, we jumped out 3-0, we were ahead, and ended up falling behind 6-4, but came back together, tied it up. Unfortunately lost in overtime, but that's a game in my mind that we really proved something to not only ourselves, but teams around the region.
Yeah, I would say our toughest opponent probably by far was Northern Michigan University. They come out flying every game. They're well coached. They're kids who have been playing hockey for a long time, and they're there to win. So that, I think, is by far our toughest. But I think our most memorable games, like Jared said, against a Robert Morris team who we knew nothing about. It took our lump the first game, but the guys found out that game that, hey, we can play with the best teams in our region. And then the win over St. Norbert's. Last year we beat them. They weren't ranked. This year, they're ranked. They come out hard. We stand toe-to-toe with them and beat our first-ranked opponent. So to me, that game really sticks out because it's another first in our program's history. But we have a tough schedule. Every team we play from here on out is ranked. So it's really going to show the guys that we can play with the best teams in the ACHA.
Would you say another tough part about this league is that there's so many teams and it varies so much as far as skill level goes? Would you say going into any team, it's hard to say what to expect from each team?
Well, that's another thing about the league and about being a college student. We do offer, as long as we communicate in advance, the weekend off for players. So many times this year we go in between injuries and other commitments with not a full roster. So the week before we're resetting our lines, trying our best to kind of create some cohesion between lines so we can go and compete with these teams. As far as going in and not knowing what to expect, you can expect in this league every team's going to bring it. You can't go into a game without a chip on your shoulder, because we found out the hard way a few times this year that it's not going to end in a pretty result.
And, in this league from year to year, it's not like the NCAA. In the NCAA, those teams are recruiting to be a specific type of team. Those kids are playing every weekend, so you know what you're going to get from week to week, even year to year. In the ACHA, Jared kind of touched on it. Kids need off for various reasons. This is, it is one of their first commitments, but they have other equal commitments that they have to make. And from year to year, if players leave and they're not able to replace them, a team can be totally different. So, a team like Northern Michigan, they could be great one year, lose their top players, and now they're a different team because they lose that key player that was either a leader on the team or a big hitter, a big goal scorer. And, from week to week, we do have to mix up our lines. So that's what I think is really unique about the ACHA and really special about it too, that you're going to play a good team, but just because you play them, just like St. Norbert's, one weekend we play them, they score a lot of goals, they're a hard team, we play them the next weekend and we're right there with them, and all that's different is the lines that we have, the injuries that have healed. So
being that it is almost the midway point of the season, are there any main points that you want to change from going to the second half of the season? Any main points as far as like X's and O's goes and stuff like that?
I don't know if it's X's and O's. We just want to be healthy.
Yeah. Like Tom said, we have had quite a few injuries this season. Staying healthy has been tough. But along coming into this next season, we have currently elected new captains, and our program, which started 2 years ago, will be losing 5 seniors. A few currently will be have left in December graduation. I'm real interested to see these new leaders coming in, stepping forward, and filling the roles for our future.
Yeah, like I said, injuries are a big thing. We had 5 concussions the first half of the season. We had a guy hurt his knee, break his ankle, and separate his shoulder. So with that, I think that amounted to 7 guys that were out at one point. So some of our toughest games we played without our best players. But I agree with Jared. I mean, we're at a point where, Jared's been the backbone to this team. He's been the emotional leader, the vocal leader, and now he's stepping back. He has 2 more games left with the team, can help those new leaders kind of transition, and I think those are the most important things that we need to see happen going forward. X's and O's, I think we're right where we need to be. Guys know how to run the system. Guys are executing well. So I'm not concerned about X's and O's. The only thing I'm concerned about is where the leadership's going to be now that Jared and Matt DeFlorin are going to be gone for the second half of the season. But I have full confidence that guys are going to step up and fill those roles too.
And you originally starting in Arkansas, is there any main differences as far as style of play that you've noticed playing teams from around here in the Midwest?
Not that I've really, I haven't noticed a ton. One of the things that there's been northern teams, mainly from Michigan, that have went down south to play, and a guy who publishes a website that follows the Southern hockey, he talked about this style of play in how teams from the north play more as a team than some of the teams from the south. Being with Arkansas, I didn't see that, but we had a coach who was from the north, so he really had his players playing as a team. But some of those teams, you can get where it's 1 or 2 lines, 1 or 2 guys that are doing most of the work. Things that I've kind of noticed as a difference is up north, I think we're a lot more physical than the teams in the south. And I think some of that comes from how they grow up playing. In Arkansas, they maybe had 1 team at each level, if that. So one or 2 guys could skate around the rest of the people on the ice, and when that happens, you don't have to worry about getting hit. So you play more of a finesse game. We're up here, we're more of a grind them out kind of hockey style, and we'll see if those are confirmed when we get down to Arkansas here at the end of next month.
Are there any special things that you want to do just for playing that team versus you would otherwise for any other team?
I want to win. some of their seniors were there when I started coaching. I'm still good friends with the coach in Arkansas. He's one of my coaching mentors. So, whether we win or lose, I want to show him, that he's taught me a lot, and I'm able to bring that